I might have to get closer, actually. So.
I think so. Oh, I'm on?
Yeah.
Oh my God, hi. You have to get closer, you have to move a whole village here.
Yeah, I do. It's okay.
You're all, okay. So, hi, can anybody hear me? I have a special guest.
Candace is watching.
Okay, hi Candace. Can you hear me, Candace? Okay, I'm bringing on my special guest right now, Stefano. Hooray! Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, thanks for coming. So we're gonna wait for a few minutes for people to get on.
Candace says yes, she can hear you.
Okay, good.
Hi, Candace.
Can you hear him, Candace?
Hi, Candace.
She says there's a little delay, so.
Yeah, we're pretty casual on this. Like sometimes they have lipstick on my teeth and they tell me like it's
Perfect.
like that. Yeah.
Hopefully I don't have lipstick on my teeth, so we're good.
Yeah.
Be a little worrisome right now.
Exactly.
Oh no, she can't hear you, Stefano.
You can't hear me? Seriously? I'm right here.
We'll know in a minute.
You can probably hear my dog.
Yeah.
I can hear you both, yes.
Okay,
Okay,
good.
great.
All right. Is anyone else here?
Yeah, Joanne.
Hi, Joanne.
Oh, Candace says she's kidding.
I
gonna kill
knew she
I'm gonna stab you.
was. Okay.
Can you hear Astro?
Yeah.
Hi from Kathy. Hold on. I can't, because there's a thing blocking. Hold on one second.
Okay. So, while people, where are people saying hi from? It'll be fun to see where everybody's coming. All right. You can't see either. We're all like stuck with this glare.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Aurora.
Colorado?
Yeah, Kathleen M. Haley from Kathy and in Aurora.
Aurora.
Lisa Torek. Well, she says Emily here from Colorado.
Hi, Emily. I'm so excited that you signed up. I've been meaning to email you. So anyway.
Is she coming to the spring intensive?
No,
Oh.
but she could. Emily, can you come to the spring intensive also?
Okay.
Anyway, go ahead.
Hi from Atlanta. Lauren Kinney from Atlanta. Cindy O'Shea from
Hi, Lauren.
Florissant, Missouri. Sorry.
It's actually pronounced Missouri. I literally.
Missouri. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
From Cindy Coleman from Dallas.
Hi, Cindy.
Deanna Merrill Chalice from Oceano, California.
Hello. And she needs to come to the intensive.
Lauren Kinney from Atlanta. Lisa Torek says she wishes she could come to the intensive.
She's doing the Animal Communication Level 1
Oh.
home study course. She's already done the energy healing, so
Oh, cool.
next step is just the big program.
Okay.
Okay, so I want to introduce Stefano. He's this amazing dog trainer, and this is going to be really fun for people. And I have to tell you how I met him. So I was having a little bit of a leash reaction. I don't like to call it leash aggression, but it is. But if one of the things that I loved the most about him, I'll tell that story in a minute. So I was having a problem. I contacted 6 dog trainers, and I kid you not, one of which was an old client of mine. Another was a guy just down at Petco. Another was somebody I got locally, her phone number. She said she was going to come over and then never showed up. Like it was thing after thing after thing. It almost became a joke. And then I heard about you from one client, and then I went to Candace's house, who Candace is on here, and I met her dog. And while her dog was still in progress, from what she had told me, and we did some tapping, what she had told me where the dog came from and where you guys got to, I said, I need his number now, and I think I met you that day, right? I think you were.
Yeah, I was pretty close to that point.
Yeah.
For sure.
And what we did in like just 2 sessions was overnight. But at the time, you didn't necessarily believe in animal communication, did you?
No, I didn't. I mean, I didn't really know much about it at all. It wasn't until Candace went through your program that things started to make more sense, and I started putting. Actually, she did it for me. Started linking the dots.
Tell the story about. So Candace was here in class, and you had the dog. Somebody got lost up in. I should have offered you coffee.
No, I've already had enough today.
All right.
All right. So Candace and I had already talked a bit about kind of what the communication, what she was learning in your class, and she was saying that a lot of what I teach is very similar to what she's learning from you. Same
Right.
concepts in a lot of ways. But so she's talking about, you know, using images and putting images, sending images to your dog. And so we had an advanced class where we take our dogs that have, you know, come from our beginner, intermediate, and then to our advanced level classes, and that's our off leash. And so we had this one dog who was off leash working, got back, we were done for the day. Dog got spooked by another dog, and this dog took off running.
Oh my God.
Right, and went up into
And
the
these
hills.
are hills like that,
Yeah.
like endless.
Yep. And
Los Angeles forest hills.
it really is.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh man, we're in trouble. That dog's gone. You know, I mean, that dog was running. And so I took Olivia and I took Astro, and I'm like, all right, dogs find dogs, let's go. And so we went up there, and we're looking for, I don't know, 30, 40 minutes of hiking, you know, up in the mountains. And I kind of went back to what Candace was saying. I'm like, all right. So I imagined that dog in my head, and I said, hey, just stay, right? Just stay there. And then I looked at Astro, and I said, and I had the picture of the dog, and I said to him, go find, which is our cue to go look for things. And then I verbally said it. And so Astro had been by my side the entire time as we were hiking, right? Never ventured off. At that moment, he turned around and he took off, and he headed down this gully.
Oh my
And
God.
I had this weird feeling I had to go to the top of the gully. I don't know why. So I went to the top of the gully. He went down, and he cuts right, and he makes this really, really odd sound. I still have never heard the sound from him. It was this strange snorting sound. And it kind of caught my attention. Next thing I know, he's pushing this dog out of the bushes and
Oh
into
my
us.
God.
So now you have Astro, who is a formerly reactive. He's still a reactive dog, but he is what I used to, you know, we rehabilitated him, and I used him to rehabilitate other dogs. So we have this dog that was gnarly before, and he's saving another dog. And so luckily the owner was next to me. Dog comes up, we leash the dog, and we're able to save the dog. And I thought this dog was gone. It was probably a mile from where we first lost the dog. So yeah.
That's amazing. That's still one of my favorite stories. And I feel like that for you was like your initiation, even though then you probably are realizing how much you were always doing it, right?
Well, that was a wow moment.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that, it worked. Right? And you know, I'm sitting
Wow.
there, hey,
Cool.
look at that, magic. So, you know, now I'm trying all sorts of things. Hey, go bring me a beer. That's not working. But, so, then it was, you know, just through communication with her, talking about, okay, well, this makes sense. Well, then, because there's times where something happens, and I don't know why, and I can't explain it. And I can't explain why I got a reaction out of a dog by doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And so now it's starting to make sense. I know what I'm doing inside.
Mm-hmm.
I know what I'm saying to the dogs inside. And I know how I feel. So those linking, and that's what started opening that door for me.
And then I didn't even know. So I didn't know that he didn't believe in animal communication. And so now he's starting to buy it. Then he comes over with a dog that he had just gotten. And then on top of it all, I didn't know that you really didn't think EFT would work. And I'm like, let's try some tapping on this dog. And
That was again kind of a, what is she doing to my dog in a moment? You know, kind of, all right, let's see how it goes. So this dog, Sophie, she is
was.
she is a super sweet dog.
Yeah.
She was as close to feral as you're gonna get.
Yeah.
You know, and she had been through 3 trainers before she came to me, or maybe I was the 3rd, I forget. And it took me 10 months just to get through to her a little bit, you know, and be able to walk her and that kind of stuff. And I actually used Olivia to help pull her from her kennel because she was frozen. So I used Olivia to pull her out.
And ironically, you know, people here might know the story that I had the dog Isabella, who was completely feral, and I had a dog named Olivia that was the one that taught my Isabella everything. So I totally related to the story, including the fact that he has a dog named Olivia. How could I not love him? He's got a dog named Olivia. So go ahead.
Every dog named Olivia is a good dog.
Yeah.
So she's really feral. So I decided to adopt her, you know, because nobody's going to take the time that she needs, you know, and I've already established some trust there with her. So I brought her to you, and you did your tapping, and you had communication with her, which was interesting. It was enlightening to kind of know where she was going, and then, you know, some things really made a lot of sense. You know, looking at her head, you know, possible abuse in there, you know, with the smaller eye and things like that. And after our session, she definitely mellowed out a lot more. She was eating more. you know. And what did we do? Twice. We came back to my house the
Yeah.
second time.
And then I brought Jill, Dr. Jill, who everybody met about a week ago. We did a Facebook Live with Jill. Dr. Jill, my Jill and Joan partner on the CBD company. Yeah, so when Jill was down visiting, we brought her, and that was really fun.
Yeah, so we had a really good time with that. And then you had some communications with some of my other dogs.
Yeah.
Like Kibo. That was one of the most shocking ones there was Kibo. Because everything really made sense. You know, Kibo is a human reactive dog. And the first time he and I met, he attacked me. The second time we met, he attacked me.
And so you adopted him,
And so I said, hey, what's better than this? Bring it to my kid and let's just have a good time. So, you know, he's one of the best dogs I've ever had. He's awesome, right? It took time. You had to build his trust, you know. But so when you sat and you did the communication with him, you touched on things that I already know he does that you didn't know he does. Meaning like the leash reactivity and that he doesn't like that around his neck. And what you got was that he had trauma to his neck.
Yeah.
And that, you know, and why he was so connected to Michelle, my wife, you know, and because she's similar to who owned him before. And things like that, just all of a sudden, it was making sense. And it was traumatic because he went through a lot. But it was enlightening. I was like, okay, I get it.
It was good for your wife to hear, too.
It was. You
Yeah.
know, it was good. It was understanding him more. And I think, you know, I thoroughly believe that dogs can move past their past
Yeah,
a lot
I do
faster
too.
than humans can.
Yeah.
But it is kind of nice to know.
It is nice to know. It is nice to know. That's why I'm hoping we're going to do a whole bunch of crazy work with some rescues. And am I full of ideas.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I always believe there's one animal that gets us to this work, and who is that for you?
My teacher, Astro.
And didn't you take him? Those hills over there is where you went and studied with him, right?
I did.
Okay, so start from the beginning with Astro.
So, okay, Astro was my doing. I screwed that dog up big time, you know. Yeah. And I got him. He was 2 years old. We adopted him. He was replacing a dog that had died tragically, one of our dogs. And so he came into my life, and I had never even considered pits before. Though I've had like bully breed-ish dogs, mutts, but I never considered a pit. And I was at the pumpkin patch just down the road, Lombardi's, and I was sick as a dog that day. And sure enough, here comes this blue-nosed pit. And so I go up and I see her, and there was zero connection. And I go up to Michelle and I go, hey, so you know when you have a connection with a dog, you know, it just clicks. She goes, yeah, well, there was nothing there. Dog had no interest in me. Then about 10 minutes later, here comes this other blue-nosed pit. I'm like, oh my God, look at this dog. And so I go up to him, and it was just instant love between the two of us. And so we came for pumpkins. We came home with a dog. And so
Did you get any pumpkins?
we did get a pumpkin. We
Okay,
got a
good.
couple of pumpkins. I should have named him Pumpkin. His name was Romeo. I ended up doing Astro, and you guys will see why his name's Astro. And so I put Astro in all sorts of horrible situations, meaning he gets attacked by a dog. I didn't end it right. I took the dogs apart, and so I leave this negative imprint in Astro. And I did it again, and I did it again, because I didn't know what the heck I was doing, you know? And so now I've got this dog who turned into an absolute demon, you know? And he broke out of the house one day and went after a dog when Michelle was coming home. And she calls me at work and says, Astro's attacking a dog, what do I do? So I gave her some advice, it worked. And then she gave me the ultimatum, either fix him or we're gonna get rid of him.
Oh my God.
And well, he's my dog, I wasn't gonna get rid of him. So I called a very famous local trainer, and
You can say his name.
Cesar Milan, and
Over there.
yep. And so I ended up actually contacting his head trainer, Jennifer Gray. And so Jennifer's like, yeah, he's probably not that bad. And I bring her Astro, and she's like, oh my God, he's horrible. He ended up being one of the worst cases of dog reactivity Cesar had seen. And Cesar didn't really want to work with him. He's like, good luck with that dog, right? And, you know, and I understand why, because the amount of work the owner's going to have to put in to fix this dog is astronomical. But he didn't realize that I was going to put the work in.
Right.
And so I worked with that dog day and night every day I came home. I would go to all the classes they used to offer at the DPC, which they don't anymore. And I would be there on days 8 hours. 8 hours on a Saturday, 8 hours on a Sunday, and then 2 or 3 hours on a Thursday. And then every day off, I was working that dog. And then through that process, I ended up becoming Jennifer's assistant trainer at Caesar's place, and so working there, and just learning. And so realistically, Astro was my greatest teacher. Astro taught me everything. You know, just going through everything with him, and then starting to expand it to other dogs is what really opened my eyes. But it always comes back to him, because he was sneaky. He was a sneaky dog. He figured out ways around my training, and so I had to keep doing things.
So you had to keep getting better and better and better.
I had to, because he kept challenging me.
Can we meet Astro?
You sure can. Come on, bud.
Oh.
Come here. This is my boy Astro right here. I don't know
This
if you
is
guys can
Astro.
see him.
Hold on.
Let's see. The camera might be a little high. Just careful. It could pop off.
Yeah.
So this is Astro. I call him Astro Jack.
He's got about 9 names. We found out in dog training.
It's true. Yeah, so you'll hear me say Jack all the time. From Afro Jack to Astro Jack. I don't know. Stupid, I know. But all my dogs have nicknames.
And then here's the famous Olivia.
Yeah, this is my girl Olivia. So this is my bomb-proof dog right here. She is the younger of all my dogs, but she's got the most gray hair.
So beautiful.
Both my dogs are working dogs, and I know I love you too, baby.
And they are who helped Delilah. I was walking with these guys on the first or second time I was walking next to you. I had Delilah, my reactive dog, with his reactive dog, and Olivia, walking together in no time.
Yeah, I think that was our first session.
Yeah.
I think that was our first session.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing is Astro, he goes in what I like to call work mode. You know, he's still a reactive dog. He's always going to be. It's instinct for him at this point. But what it is when you have a reactive dog, 9 times out of 10, the reactivity is because you as the owner failed and they don't trust. And so I had to establish trust with him again and make him understand that I've got it and we're good. And so now I can put him in these situations, like he almost got bit yesterday working a dog. And Astro just sat there stoic and dealt with it. Whereas before, it would have been game time. And I corrected that dog, and by the end of that lesson, all 3 dogs were walking next to each other. So he is, and in his older age, you know, I think he's like 8 now. You know, he's mellowed out, but he's trust now, and he's great. I still have to watch him. I can't sit there and say, hey, just go play in a pen full of dogs and then walk away. But as long as I'm there to protect him, he knows it, we're good. Whereas Olivia, I could sit her in a pack of lions and she'd do fine.
Are there any questions, comments, or observations so
Yeah.
far? Okay.
So all the way back to when the dog got lost, Deborah Nugent Barnes says, amazing, Astro was alerting you with the snorting, I guess.
A big snort.
Yeah.
Eleanor's laughing at, what is she doing to my dog? Deanna Emerald Angel Chalice says, I'd love to get my dog to stop eating or trying to eat every single thing on the ground on our walks.
Oh boy, you would. All you have to do is come out and work with him a couple of days. You have a workshop. Is it full?
It's what it is. It's not full right now, but what I have is for out of town clients coming in, they can do a 3-day training session, and what is just it's kind of condensed, so you get a little more private lessons with me and then group lesson at the end, and so it's just a way for them to come out, because for me to drive out to people, it's really expensive. And so they can come in and it's a couple hours on Friday, a couple hours in the morning on Saturday, a couple hours in the afternoon on Saturday, and then classes on Sunday. And
but you're not doing. You're gonna do that in a while. But
yeah. So it's gonna be a good experience for people to do, and so it's just a way so people can come get an intensive. You know, I had a client do that one time where he came in from Sacramento, and you know he saw some trainers out there, super reactive dog. Trainers out there said, you need to put the dog down. And so finally he called me again because we had talked. He's like, well, let me see what I can find out up here. Totally good, go for it, you know. And so I did that same thing for him. He drove down with his wife. Pretty much the first day, you know, results may vary, right? That's my disclaimer. After the first day, we squashed a lot of that reactivity, and now it was about teaching them how to lead.
And I want to get to the human piece here. That's going to be my next question. But what else do we have here?
No, just comments like Lori M. Hall's talking about her Bugle is Beeler Husky, was feral from a horde of 130 dogs. The stories he could tell.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Just people saying hi. Deborah Nugent Barnes says, I hear Astro, handsome boy. Karen Thomas says, hi, Stefano, Astro, and Olivia.
Hi, Karen.
Karen and Daisha, yeah.
Yeah.
Astro's smile. They're talking
Yeah.
about Astro's
He's
smile.
got the biggest smile.
He
Oh,
does.
He's actually on 2 wine bottles.
He
So,
is?
yeah,
I don't
they're-
have
they're-
Astro
they're-
wine.
The wine, the manufacturer, they went out of business. So
Oh.
the rescue that he came from did a fundraiser, and I submitted a photo. So before, they already had a photo on him before I even got him, and then I submitted a photo of him and Olivia.
Oh.
They both ended up on wine bottles. So
he's so handsome.
I know,
and
he is
ended up-
like,
he is,
They're about to see
He
me
is-
on camera because I'm about to go over there and make out with
he
him.
is a sexy beast.
He is so sexy. Look
So
at him.
he is. That's him there. You know, and he's on my website and everything because he is my teacher.
Oh my god.
Anything else? Okay.
What price range for the weekend intensive training?
I'm still establishing the price. I'm thinking it's probably going to be around 900, and so you have to consider, like, with my hourly wages or hourly rates usually.
You don't have to
If
justify.
I come out there,
it's worth
yeah.
it, believe me.
So it'll probably end up being somewhere close to 900 to do it, and we will make a dent.
And that's a bargain. That's a bargain.
Yeah.
Because you get to, for $900, you get to meet this guy.
You do. You'll get to meet
Oh.
Astro and Olivia.
Where, oh, she's laying down. Okay.
Okay, so
She's not a sun dog. She hates the heat. Her favorite time of the year is winter.
Okay, so what I want to ask you next is, because like communication, obviously, all of this is really important in it. So, what would you say is, how much does a human play in an animal? I mean, I know the answer to this, but how much does a human play into the animal problem?
It's the majority of the issue typically. You know, there are some dogs that are just wired wrong. You know, and those dogs typically I'm not going to be able to fix. You know, we might be able to maintain a situation.
You know, it's funny you say that. I'm going to do, after all of this, I'm going to do a big section on the 4 pillars of having an animal. It's animal communication, it's energy, it's training, and sometimes it's management.
Yeah.
You know, and management is a huge piece, right?
Piece. And so, you know, and even in the same token with management too, is like when you have 2 dogs that are not compatible,
Right.
it doesn't mean you get rid of one. It means we manage
Manage.
it. We manage
yes.
it. We just deal with it.
Yeah.
So, so in most cases, it's either a lack of rules in the house, a lack of order and structure. So dogs are pack animals. There's a structure within a pack, and dogs need structure, and they need to be led. They need to be guided, and there's always a leader, and there's always a follower, and there's always. Sorry, my phone's deciding to beep right now. And so the dogs need that. And so in a pack in your house, guess what? You're it.
Yeah.
And so if you're not stepping up, the dog's going to step up, and you're going to see behavior issues. So you have to make sure that with your dogs that you have enough structure going on, that they understand the rules, and you never compromise on the rules, and that there's order and they understand that. But now also when you have a reactive dog, it has to do with a lot of times your energy. It's a big component in it. If you have high anxiety, if you're afraid, if you're weak in the sense of not strength, just a weak energy, your dog's not going to feel like you're protecting them. Okay, especially like a power breed like a pit bull or a German Shepherd or one of those, right? They will take charge.
Yeah.
And they're horrible at it.
Yeah.
You know, so that's where you have to step up and let your dogs know that you're protecting them. Your job is not to protect you.
And my mistake with Delilah was my dog Olivia was half Border Collie, quarter German Shepherd, quarter Rottweiler. I was in charge of her, and she and I were like such a team. Then we had the feral dog. And then we got Delilah, who took the lead from the other 2 dogs. And once those 2 dogs died, I never realized she didn't look at me as the leader. And so
And she was drifting at that point.
Yeah. But now she knows, and I have no problem stepping in. I mean, all the cats know.
Yeah. And that's the thing is a lot of times people don't realize or they don't see what they're doing. And so it's just usually with a little guidance. The neat thing was you understand energy. That's a huge component that I struggle with getting people to understand.
Yeah.
What does calm mean?
Right.
You know, and people struggle with that. And what does assertive mean? You know, for some people it does not come natural.
And also assertive for a lot of, here's the thing, this is the toughest part about this, is that for women, when we are assertive, that's a negative thing, because
It
then
is
we're
in
called a
today's society,
bitch,
yep.
right? And I mean, unfortunately, it's a hard thing for women to hear.
Yeah. No, it's true, and you have to kind of get out of that
And just be a bitch.
And
I
just
don't
be a bitch.
care.
Just
Yeah.
control your dog.
Yeah.
Just step up and control your dog, and let your dog know where's
Yeah.
your place. Your place is behind me. And when you do that, I have a lady was telling me the other day. She says, "I'm really small. I can't control my Rottweiler or whatever it was, a big dog." I'm like, I don't know. Jennifer Gray, my mentor, she's not very big, and she controls a wolf.
She's amazing.
So
Yeah.
don't give me that. Size isn't what's important.
No.
It's everything starts in here.
Yeah.
Just like how you communicate starts here, right? It's the same thing with dogs. Your assertiveness and your calm starts here and here, and so it really is just energy work with your
Yeah.
dogs. So here's a cool story. Speaking
my
of energy,
God.
really gonna come up.
Oh my God.
So you
And
met
there's
my
a
son.
spanky butt.
You met my son
Ooh,
Nico.
Yes.
So Nico is my assistant trainer. He is awesome. He's 13, and he comes and works with me all the time. If I have a dog that wants to eat kids, he's like, "Oh, I'm there. Let me work that with you." So we were working the American Rescue Dog Show, which is put on through Hallmark Channel. And so there's a dog there that was freaking out because the owner left to go to hair and makeup. And so I said to Nico, I said, "Hey, just go in there and do energy work with him." He's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "Just go in there and be calm and use your energy to calm the dog." And so I got it on video and everything, and it took like 10 minutes. And sure enough, the dog was laying down, chilled. The owner comes back, goes, "What's he doing?" "Well, he's just doing what he does." "Which is what, Mom?" "He's doing energy work. He's just calming your dog." He's like, "I've never seen my dog calm like that before." So again, yeah, teach the little ones.
That's a great story. When you wanted to, what made you decide you want to be a dog trainer?
Jennifer, I had Jennifer come over. I wanted to duplicate the situation where Astro ran out of the house and went after that dog. So Jen brought a couple of her dogs over. I left the door open, and I just kind of did what I did, controlled Astro, and she looks at me at the end of it, and Astro didn't do it. He's great. He's phenomenal. And at the end of it, she looks at me, "You ever thought about being a human trainer?" And that's what she called it, a human trainer, right? And I'm like, "No." So it's because you got it. So you gonna give a kiss, dude?
Oh.
So that's what started it. And I just started as an assistant, see how it goes, and so it just started progressing, and then I got my first client, and then it just blossomed from there. So
We got some questions.
Okay.
So Karen Thomas wants to know what do you find is the best way to stop the jumping up behavior? All of our shelter dogs need work with this.
the biggest thing with jumping up is the owner or the person handling needs to claim their space back. Okay, so dogs need to understand that when they jump, that's rude. So what would another dog do? Another dog would claim it, would bite them. All right, so in a sense, that's what you need to do, is you need to throw your knee up, claim your space. But it's not just the act of throwing your knee up. Your knee up, the only reason you're throwing your knee up or you're touching the dog, right? Sorry, I didn't mean to poke you, is to get their attention. But then you have to actually step forward with your body language, explain to the dog, with just energy, you don't have to use words, that that is not right. But it's how you bring your energy to it, and it's not about being frustrated, it's about being calm and assertive and letting the dog know, So if everybody keeps working on that, whenever they go in there, the dog will quickly learn that that doesn't work for them, and that's not the energy they want.
And Karen, I could totally see you being able to do this. Like, I looked at like that day that we were all here and Candace was here. I mean, what Candace learned from you and what I'm trying to get is that when you are working the dogs, it's almost like a dance. Like when I watch Candace work dogs, she's like in a waltz. And
You blushing yet, Candace?
Yeah, and the same with you, and it's like I'm trying to get there. I ride dressage, so I feel like I dance with horses. I've got to get the dancing with dogs down. But Karen, you've got a natural grace. You could dance in there and just be like, nope.
And here's another thing to it too, is especially like your dogs at home. It's the whole concept of ignoring your dogs when you come home. Teaching them that the only time they get affection is when they're calm. And when we come in and the dogs are excited and you say, "Hey, what's up, Astro?" Well, guess what? You're feeding the excitement. You're feeding the energy you don't want. So what I tell people is feed the energy you want, starve the energy you don't want. Right? So ignore the energy you don't want, teach them what calm means. And that's actually going to transition into everything. So when I talked about making rules for the dogs, right, and having limits for the dogs and things to that effect, it starts with that. So the first rule in the house is you have to be calm. And if you want anything from me, the way you get it is by being calm. and then I will give it to you. And so you're rewriting the dog's brain, because in a pack, that's what they would do. So you rewrite the dog's brain so they understand that what I want in my house is calm, and then what I want outside is calm, and it works.
Okay, so Lori Hodar or Jodar, what is your website?
It's canineintuition.com.
So
K with a K, 9, intuition.com.
And Nancy Snyder wants to know, what kind of collar does Astro have on?
I got it on Amazon. I don't know, I just looked kind of cool. So this is the collar, this is the leash. Just make sure we understand the same. So I just liked it because it had the American flag and he felt patriotic to me. And then the leash itself, I use a slip leash. The one I prefer is made by Mendota. It's the most comfortable leash out there. And also on my YouTube channel, the Canine Intuition YouTube channel, I have a video on how to use these leashes.
Cool. And then Carrie Paulson says she's a pet groomer who works with difficult pets. I know the issues from the dogs stem a lot from their household humans. How do you recommend I speak to my clients on these issues without offending them? They are paying me just to groom. That's a good boundary.
I have a lot to say about that.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. First and foremost, I would say I feel like your dog is really stressed when he comes here, and if he's really, really stressed when he comes here, I imagine that there are things that he either has too much control of or no control of at home. And if you want him to not be overwhelmed here at the groomer, maybe you could work on some things before he gets here. And then you're not blaming anybody, because it could be something that happened. I mean, I agree that it's a lot the human, but it could be the human that had him before.
Yeah.
Right?
It's still the human,
it's
but yeah.
still the human. And so then a lot of people, so I'm really careful about blaming the human always, because it's some other human often. And we're in here then trying to do the right thing with a dog that is damaged or has challenges. And then I have my own set of challenges. And I always say that, like, adopting can almost be like a cocktail, right? Like, I'm putting this in and I'm putting this in.
Right. And
so even though it's a human challenge, this person may be doing the right thing. So then you could just suggest that they do a little more the right thing.
Yeah, I would start by having a conversation just with them, you know. And it might not be the first visit. It might be the third visit. Just start going down the road.
Yeah, in a really
and start to build that
compassionate way.
connection with them,
Yeah.
so that you can start bringing it up. And go, hey, so I noticed your dog does this. Have you guys ever considered maybe looking at this? Or, you know, this trainer came in the other day and said that when this happens, that maybe we can look at this, you know. And so you go kind of a point by point and just make it a fun little conversation. Or even bring up another dog.
Yeah.
You know, and say, hey, this one dog, this one time at band camp, so this one dog, right?
Asking for a friend.
Asking for a friend. So, right, so then you're not blaming them, but you're bringing it up, excuse you, in a kind of a nonchalant sort of way. It's easier for a trainer to do it.
That was almost a snort.
But yeah.
But the other thing is about that is I think that if you're in love with the dog and in love with the person, you're gonna you know, like, oh my God, your dog loves you so much. Oh my God, your dog is so happy to see you. Oh my God, your dog and you this. And now, you know, and it's not just buttering them up, it's speaking the other truth. And then you get to this truth.
Yep. And it's a way to build a connection with the person and the dog. So
it's the same.
You're so gonna sneeze again, aren't you? Yep. Now he's gonna go into his reverse sneeze in a minute. Because what he does is he sneezes, he puts his nose in the dirt, he sneezes again, puts his nose in there. It's a never-ending battle with him.
That's so funny. All right, here we go.
Okay, so we got there's another question. Sorry, my thing froze.
But the same thing happens with animal communication, right? That's why we go to the essence and the favorite things first. We don't say, your dog thinks you need a new boyfriend. You know, we say, this isn't, you know, this and this and this and this is going great, and here's what else.
Yeah, because you're really touching on really personal things when you start doing those readings.
Exactly.
You know, sorry.
Is that his reverse sneeze?
I told you it was coming.
The reverse sneeze.
And sometimes I notice he does it and gets attention with it. Once I tell him to stop, he goes, okay. Yeah, I think
there
he
he
gets
goes.
attention with it. See? Now he stops. But yeah, so when you're able to touch on those really sensitive subjects,
Yeah.
that's a tough one. For me, it's easy. This is your dog's biting somebody, so let's work on that.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's really deep, but I think even the groomer, if you want that dog to be really calm for the grooming, then I think you have every right to bring up stuff, but I would just do it really gently, carefully, and with compassion.
Speaking of dog biting people, Stacy Zimberg says, my dog is from a very abusive past to rescue. We have a great relationship, but when he sees others, he tries to bite them.
Okay. So first thing I want to talk about is moving forward. So dogs, just like humans, have their past, right? And those pasts are imprints. So they have instinct and imprints, they all kind of combine. And we as humans, dogs live in the moment, they live in the now. We as humans live in the past. And so we always go back to the, oh no, he's gonna do this. Oh no, here comes a human, he's gonna go do this. And we send these images to our dogs that of the behavior we don't want.
Yeah.
Right? So we send the image to the dog for the behavior we don't want.
Which is Animal Communication 101.
Right.
Yep.
And so what we have to consider is moving forward ourselves. So what I like to tell people is that the fastest way to get your dog to move past traumas is you yourself moving forward too. We're the only ones holding them back to what they are tied to their past, you know? And once you take that step forward and you let go of the past, your dog will let go of the past.
That's why I'm starting an initiative about, and I want to include you in on this, and some of my students, we're working on something, but the one of the things I would love to do is to let go of the word rescue.
Yeah.
And say, this is my adopted animal.
Yeah.
Because it's my family at this point.
Yeah.
If we took rescue out of it, we're stopping feeling sorry for them, and we're not the hero.
Right.
Then we're on a level playing field, and then we have to move forward.
Yeah, that's a term I never use with my dogs. My dogs are just my dogs.
My dogs are my dogs.
My dogs are my dogs. And
Yeah.
so but then to kind of get back to that point of what do we do? Well, first things first, so I have a dog. Actually, this is interesting. We'll go on a little bit. It'll come back to this topic. Whiskey. Whiskey's a dog, and I told you the story before, but Whiskey's a dog, is human reactive. First time he and I met, I had a bite sleeve on, and he attacked my bite sleeve, I don't know, a dozen times. I mean, attacked to kill. And so he came to Jen's place, and Jen said, hey, listen, I'm having trouble getting him out, you know, and we're going to do board and train with him. And she says, every time he lunges, we have to leash him from the top because we can't get him out. He's lunging at us all the time. And so I walk in, and she's getting ready to pop the top, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, stop. So what? I'll just stop. I'm going to go in. She's like, what do you mean are you going?
It's like walking into a lion's den.
And
But
this
go
dog
ahead.
this dog's in the red zone. He is just hitting the gate. He looks like he wants to eat me. And I'm like, I don't know why, but I have a feeling I'll be fine. I'm just going to go with it. I'll just give me some good treats, and I'm not a treat guy. I don't train with treats.
Yeah, I always say I am the treat people. Dog people, cat people.
I don't train with treats.
I'm the treat.
But in that circumstances, treats what I needed. And sure enough, went in, and what I was feeling from him was, dude, I'm scared. This is false. Just, I'm scared. And so that was the feeling I had. And sure enough, within 10 minutes of doing some work with him inside the kennel, pat him out, and that was the moment we changed. That was the moment he started trusting. So now,
that story still makes me want to cry again.
Yeah, I love this story. And so he still comes to class. And so what we're doing now is it's about two things. First, he needs to build trust in you that you're going to protect him.
Do I know him?
You may have met him there. Yeah. Okay. Yes. He's the one we were giving treats to as we walked.
Okay.
That's
Whiskey. That's right. That's right.
Whiskey.
Yeah,
Okay,
he's
so,
awesome.
Yeah, he's amazing. And so two things. First, we had to build trust. He had to build trust in you as a human, or his human. And that being said, being able to protect him, putting him where he needs to be, which is behind you, and you in between the person that's coming up. And then he needs to build trust in other humans. So first to you, and then other humans. So then what we did was we'd have him, people use the leash and invite him to them in their space, but still not touch him. Don't touch him, just let him come into your space. So each time he comes into that space, muzzled, mind you, he wouldn't get touched, nothing bad would happen. And then when he would relax, we reward with a good boy. And then we do it again, and we do it again, and we do it again. So the whole class ends up handling this dog. So now he got to the point where that was cool. He's actually going up to other people. So then we brought in treats on
and that was the day I was there. And we all
and
just
so then
gave him
all that
treats.
was I wanted to progress him a little further. So as they would walk, they would hold a treat in their hand. So every time he went up to a human, he got a really good treat. So now he's associating humans with treats and something he liked. But now the key with the treats
I did vegan treats that day, by the way.
She did. And so the trick with treats is doing it at the right time. If I gave him a treat, meaning like he came into my space, but he's still in an anxious moment, still in anxious energy, and I gave him a treat for coming up to me, I'm rewarding the anxiety. And I don't want the anxiety. So that's why those treats were just so nonchalant.
Yeah, we all were like, you had to...
Yeah, so people are just chilling, and he's just walking up, and oh, hey, look, a treat. It's like Easter for him, right?
Right.
He finds a Easter egg, and he's getting something. So everything was positive, and so we're making progress. So I know it was a long answer, but I hope that helped.
Yeah.
So there's more questions. Do you want me to go on, or do you want to continue?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Cat BM says, that's interesting. I have a pack of 10 dogs, 3 are deaf. 2 of the deaf ones can get picked on. How can I calm my pack so I have a calmer pack? She goes, sorry, how can I break the tension between my hearing dogs and deaf dogs?
The main thing there is you governing, okay? So it's about, let's just use energy as an example for play, right? So when I have 2 new dogs into a house and they're starting to play, I always pick an energy level in which we're going to shut that play down, right? So we're going to limit the play. You as a human do that. You as a human go in and shut the play down. You as the human govern when those dogs are together. You're always watching and you're always present in the moment. And when you start to see any type of altercation starting, it's about shutting it down quick so that the dogs understand that you're running the pack and not them. It's not their job to correct the other dogs. It's your job to correct the other dogs. And I usually would start with it. Crate, rotate, acclimate, especially if there's an issue in the house. We take the dogs away, but they're still with each other in the same room. But we just separate with the crate, and then we start bringing them back in together in a kind of a strategic manner, so that we're able to control the energy in the house, and we're able to be there present at that moment. So I would say that's the majority of it. Is your dogs are looking for you to lead and you to do the correcting, and just like any dog, really.
And I would bet tapping would help too. Tapping on your most reactive of those dogs, and then tapping on one of the deaf dogs and saying, I'm a badass, ending with, I'm such a badass, I don't need to hear. Those other dogs are stupid. They need hearing and they still don't know what I know.
You know, deaf dogs are actually my favorite to work because everything about them is energy. You can't use your words.
Yeah.
But they will watch your body language more than any other dog will. And your body language will totally just shine through when you have a really calm, assertive energy with them. And I have an absolute blast because it's almost like, it feels like using the force with them. They're so receptive to it. Yeah.
I love that.
So there's this is actually an interesting situation. She says, my dog loves me first, my husband second. He is happy to play and get adoration from my husband all day long. But if I am upstairs and my husband is downstairs, he loses his damn mind when my husband comes upstairs. He gets angry and nips and shows his teeth. Once my husband pets him, he relaxes and it's back to normal. But it makes going to bed at different times impossible. He's a rescue and we don't know his past. This remains his only bad issue after 2.5 years with him. We cannot seem to stop this.
Okay, so the
That's Mary
past
Beth
doesn't
Dunkley.
really have anything to do with that in that situation. That has to do with him claiming you. Okay, so you are his resource. You are his. So it's reversed. The roles are reversed between you two. Okay, so you have to now actually separate yourself from him in a lot of ways, and you have to create boundaries. And he doesn't get to see how Astro's leaning on me right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in a normal situation, this would be bad. Okay, but this is kind of forced to do this. Astro and I have rules. Doesn't matter. He knows where his place is, and I am not his. He is mine. And so when a dog like that is claiming you, you have to correct that dog. You have to correct that situation and let that dog know. And when I say correct, so I would use a touch. So let's say the dog is barking at your husband. I would use a touch to get the dog's attention. I know you've seen Caesar do it, and no, it's not abuse. What it is trying to get the dog's attention, because the dog's attention is on your husband. The energy is really high. I want you to think of it as your dog has headphones on, and you're trying to speak to your dog, but your dog isn't going to hear you because your dog's focused over there. So your dog his headphones are at a 7, but you're speaking to him at a 5. Your dog will never hear him. So that's where that touch comes in. So now the dog goes, oh, what's up? So now you got the touch. Now you need to correct, and you need to claim your husband. And claiming is always coming up and in front, and claiming whatever you want. And it's body language coming over, and it's no. But
when you say coming up and in front, what do you mean? Like you walk around and come?
Yeah. So let's say.
Can we demonstrate?
Yeah, we totally can.
You're the husband. What
Yeah.
am I?
So let's say hypothetically, wow, I'm heavy.
Oh, I did the
Very
same thing.
Okay.
I'm like 2 inches off the ground at this point. Oh my god, I'm actually gonna be on camera now.
All right, so
But
come
we
on
gotta
out.
fix the camera so that
It's fine.
they're seeing our whole.
Oh, duh.
Hi, can you see my head? It's gonna pop out right now.
Okay, I got it.
Okay.
Give me 1 second, please. There we go.
All right, so the way I teach claiming is the way a dog would claim something. Okay, so let's say this was a juicy bone that I had right here, right? A dog would put their paw on it. Look, Astro starts going for it. Is it a bone? Put a paw on it, and the body language would come over, and we'd have some eye contact, and you would want to come up, or we get in a fight. I don't know which, right?
We can fight.
We can totally fight. Let's go. So if Astro was right now being aggressive towards her, right? I'm gonna do a touch to get his attention, right? And so once he gives me the attention, then it's a step in, and it's a So you see how he immediately sat down?
Mm-hmm.
So that's respect. That's him saying, okay, I get it, you got it.
But see, even the thing that I also want to point out is that we're human and dog. If it were two dogs and there was a leader dog over here and another dog over here, and this dog was fixated on this dog is going to come in and go, yeah, no.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like same thing.
Yeah, because that dog, there's a great video online, I gotta find it again, of a German Shepherd doing that. So there's a husky, we all know about huskies, right? They're really high energy animals. And this husky was at the park and was punking all these other dogs. And I don't know where she's going, she's venturing. And
Claudia's on film almost.
Yeah. And so this dog's punking every other dog. And the shepherd, one of the shepherds actually goes after this dog and tries to correct it. And that started a fight between the two dogs. And then this other shepherd came in, and this other shepherd was the true alpha, right? And you're not gonna, he's the true alpha. He's the really calm, assertive leader. He nailed that dog, stood over, no biting, just stood over that dog and submitted the dog for probably a good 6 minutes. The dog didn't move. The dog just sat there, laying down. The shepherd got up and walked away. That dog comes up, almost like it was refreshed, and everything was copacetic. The problem is the owners weren't doing that.
Yeah.
The owners needed to claim.
Well, the other thing is that I think that we humans make the mistake of expecting animals to behave by human psychology, and we're not looking at dog behavior. People don't really know what naturally is dog behavior, and nobody's in dog school. And we're expecting dogs to be good citizens when we're not putting them in their correct situation. I mean, do we have time to actually get Delilah out and show a proper grading?
We have 12 minutes. Do you want me to go get her?
Sure. Yeah.
I'll go get her.
Okay.
You guys can.
Are there any questions?
Can't do both.
Scott.
My male shepherd pit mix does the same thing with my husband and I. This has been so helpful. Thank you. This is another person that has the same issue.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
The other thing that you said is we have human standards, but it's not just that. It's we tell our dogs what we don't want, but you never tell them what you want.
That's animal communication 101. I always say that it's like you have to always put out the behavior that you want, so that for like the couple and the wife that's in bed, if she's thinking, uh-oh, here comes my husband, my dog is going to do that, it's invitation. And it's not seeing, like working through and visualizing and embodying what's going to happen. Oh, my husband's coming upstairs. Of course, get in bed, honey. Here we are, happy family.
Yeah, but it's going to start with you claiming your husband and correcting the behavior. And you can always have your husband feed more, and take the lead more with these dogs or with your dog. And he may never be buddy with your dog. That's just it happens, but that's okay. He just doesn't get to claim you.
Yeah.
And so when he goes, the other thing too is just be aware. If he comes and leans on you, I want you to push it away.
And I'm gonna go get Delilah myself because I already hear it going. But so if you want to talk also about,
throw me that phone. I'll answer those questions.
Yeah. There's, and I don't even have my glasses, so you get to read those.
I'll try.
All right.
So my little pocket pit whines and whines when she wants something, or if there's a car and she wants to get out of it or walk, hike. How do I get her to relax and not whine? Okay, well, first things first. If your dog's doing something that you don't like, don't feed into it. Don't give her a treat. Don't take her on a walk, right? Only feed the behavior that you like and not the behavior that you don't like. So whining, you know, if she's whining, she doesn't get the leash. She doesn't get to go out. She needs to be calm before she exits the car. She needs to be calm before she comes into the car. Problem is, we get the whining. What do? We give them a treat. So all you did was reward the bad behavior. So here we have a dog. We're going to do a greeting here. Okay, so, all right. So I have two forms of greetings that we do. We have informal and formal. So now keep in mind, we have two potentially, you know, reactive dogs. She's insecure, Astro's insecure.
All right,
okay?
I'm going to bring this up again.
Yep. All right, so she's insecure and Astro's insecure. Right there, correct that. There you go.
I can't see
so
Joan.
we have to really be on it with dogs that are insecure. They have to understand where we sit and what we expect, and so we're going to correct the behaviors. So you have informal, which is what they're doing right now. They're greeting from a distance. It's that, hey, how you doing, right? Can you hear me since it's kind of far away? So,
They haven't responded.
okay, so you have informal and you have formal. The informal is like, hey, how you doing from a distance. The formal is going to be the nose-to-nose greet. So when you have unbalanced dogs or dogs that have reactive issues or insecure, we just really don't want face-to-face greetings. Okay, that's
they don't meet, and this goes into my chakra stuff. Like, they're all about the first chakra and safety, which is
yeah. So that's how they greet in the wild. And so, you know, if you took an Olivia and you put it with another Olivia, they greet face-to-face all day long. It doesn't matter. Those two dogs are middle-of-the-pack dogs. They're happy-go-lucky. They're easy. These two dogs are back-of-the-pack dogs. These two dogs really need to be led. All right, so between the two, which one's the most insecure matters. I would say she's the most insecure at this point because she's really trusts me. So she's going to do the greeting first. All right, so she's the most insecure dog. We want to take away the tension of her doing a greeting, and so she gets to do the greet first. So we don't want what I like to call the drunken sailor. I don't want her coming in too fast and shoving her nose up his butt and making him really uncomfortable. I want her coming in calm.
No drunken sailor.
Right. So she's going to slow her dog down before she even gets in there. But then what I'm going to do is keep Astro pressed up against me like this. I'm going to keep his head from turning. I'm going to distract it, and so she can come up safely. When she goes to bring up her dog, she's going to take her dog and slow her down before she even gets there. So some of the techniques I do is claiming, right? I don't want her going there yet, so I'm going to claim. Stop. I take my body in between and slow the dog down. And then I apply just a little bit of tension towards the dog, just like this, and I add my scent to the greeting. So I guide my dog in, okay? And then there's no tension on the leash. I don't want you pulling back on it, right? When you guys do this, don't pull back. Just leave it nice and loose. So if you need to pop the dog away, you can. 3 seconds is all we do. 1, 2, 3, and then just turn and walk a little bit away, and then set yourself up. All right, so I'm gonna set Astro up. Come on, young lady. 1, 2, 3, and then turn to the right. That's a good greeting right there. So now you're gonna set up right here, or can you see over there?
I could see Joan right there, yeah.
Okay, perfect. So we don't ever want to go too far, because then the dogs don't realize it's the same dog. So see, Astro's already trying to be the drunken sailor, which he's notorious for. Okay? So I keep slowing him down.
And look at her tail is so tucked. 1,
Yeah.
2, 3.
I mean, it's like under her body.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now you can give them some praise because they just did something really good.
Oh, so good.
You know, it was a good greet. They did a really good job. So when you guys are introducing 2 new dogs, this is the way we're going to do it. If there's tension between 2 dogs, this helps to dissipate a lot of that tension between the 2. Okay?
And she was completely leaned up against me, and her tail is still really tucked.
Yeah, so that's telling you right there, she's a super insecure dog.
So even though it seems like I always say that she goes from Farrah Fawcett to Large Marge from Pee-wee's Big Adventure, Large Marge isn't. Large Marge is scared, and that's why Large Marge is that way.
Yeah, and that's how Astro was, but now he's had a lot of faith and trust in me, so I can do a lot more with him.
Okay, so people are commenting on the slip lead.
Okay.
So why do you have the dog on a neck lead rather than a body harness that is physically safer? And then Elizabeth 6 has agreed, a reactive dog should never be on a slip, lead, choke, correction, chain, or prong. A body harness is the only thing I will attach a leash to ever.
Okay. See, I completely disagree on that. Harnesses are what cause pulling. I can't do any corrections with a harness. If a dog goes there, there's no negative ramifications for going there. When I mean going there, trying to attack a dog. So if I have a dog trying to attack me and I apply just a little bit upwards tension, that breaks the fixation, and the dog goes, I don't know what this is, I'm now not focusing on that dog, and they can focus on me. Okay, so if Astro was trying to attack her, I'm going to put up that upward pressure, he's going to sit, and now I can actually control him. You put a harness on a reactive dog, the dog's going to keep going there. There's zero ramifications, and that's the strongest part of the dog. That's why we use those harnesses for huskies, so that huskies can pull sleds, right? Or any of the sled pulling dogs. Okay, and once they learn how to do that, good luck. You're not going to control the dog. So no, this is the only issue I will ever use with a reactive dog, and I have great success with it. And not just that, it's a great way to communicate with the dog. It's a great way to speak with them and to use energy with them, and I just have to do gentle pressures on this leash and I can get him to do anything I want. It's just like riding a horse. And so, whereas a harness, you don't get that. You don't get the ability to do that.
When you're riding, the reins are your communication. Yeah. And I mean that's completely loose. And she's usually all right. Now she's looking at something else.
But not to mention, also these leashes are really safe. There's no way I've never had a dog come out of this leash. Ever. And I've had dogs in the red zone big time.
Their concern is cervical spine and thyroid and throat damage.
Well, yeah, I've seen that. I mean, I've seen it in leashes. I've seen it in incorrect use.
Yeah, it's always with incorrect use.
As an animal communicator, for sure. And if a dog isn't trained and it's just yanking along, I've seen a lot of thyroid stuff. In fact, you can look at that older lab has probably been a big puller on the leash that now has Cushing's, and there's probably something going on for sure. But that's where if you're using it with a good trainer, then you're not misusing it.
My thing is I never want tension on this leash.
Yeah.
This leash should be loose the whole time. Okay, that's the whole point of this leash. That's why I don't ever see issues. The only time I don't use it is if there is a documented case of issues with the throat already beforehand, and so then I wouldn't use it. But in any healthy dog, no. And it just sits here.
And two reactive dogs we're sitting here with.
Yep.
But I want to go back to, so do you like animal communication now?
Yeah, it's actually fascinating. It's starting a very interesting road.
And you're coming to the class?
I am. Yeah.
That's so fun. Okay. So he's going to come to the class. And any last questions, comments, observations?
We have 2 minutes.
What's that?
We have 2 minutes.
Okay. So we have the intensive coming up. We have the animal communication level 1 home study course, or of course you can always join the big program. Please, Delilah found a bug. Come here. Can you sit? Good girl. And if you want to talk to me, you can email me and Joan at joanranquet.com, and just put in there what you want to talk about, whether it's the intensive or the big program or the level 1. And also, just so you know, there are people, my assistant team is organizing the bed and breakfast and the Airbnbs, and so there's a whole group getting together that are sharing cars. So if that's a concern, that can be taken care of. Okay, thank you for joining us.